they're well respected in their field. They know lots of different, and they're picking people that don't have a narrow focus that will only like one kind of work. And they're going to be looking for what are the best, most interesting projects to support out there. Now, I know that sounds nebulous, but if you ever are on the other side of receiving line of grant proposals, that stuff ships out pretty quickly as to what are the better projects.
I mean, Jen, just to let you know, and I mean, this is something that we really try to address in a very thoughtful way. For example, the juror for the fine arts area, which would be the area you would apply to, one of the reasons we reached out to her is that she is a very respected curator of contemporary art. She has done a lot of shows, a lot of exhibitions at a major venue. She is very, what shall I say, diverse, eclectic in her interests. I mean, she doesn't just curate photography, although that might be to your advantage. No, I'm kidding. But she works with a very wide range of artists and practices and media, and so we wanted that depth, but that breadth, I should say, but also that depth of really understanding contemporary artists and very genuinely interested in looking at the work of both established and emerging artists. So we really thought a lot about that. So there's not somebody coming in, with like, I just really like sculpture. That's really what I'm inclined to look at. I mean, and this is, I hope we've gotten some of that. And the same with architecture. We have a wonderful person lined up for the architecture, which is, interior landscape architecture. Teaches at Yale, practicing architect, but also someone who has written a lot about other architects and designers. So she will bring, again, I think, a very kind of fulsome perspective to this process. So,
and as having been a juror on other opportunities, you kind of go in with a mandate to really look widely and really seriously consider a variety. You don't want it to look like, only the photographers got it, or only, so you really look, and that's partly in any panel process, not just the one that any selection process, not just the one that RISD has set up. The people in charge of selecting are given a mission, and the mission is to the fact that RISD has a variety of fine arts major, in every one of these disciplines, every one of these categories has a variety of students and interests, and they want it reflected in the grants as well. I would think so. And so a juror, anybody that makes these judgments, takes that task very seriously.
So they will be given kind of a brief. I mean, the invitation has included a very sort of thorough description of this process and what their role would be, what the time frame would be, when they would like to announce the grants, the departments and the kinds of range of, the departments that would be represented within their area or category. So they already have that information. They've agreed. They've signed on with enthusiasm, because they actually, they're actually very excited about it. I mean, if you're a curator or a writer or a theorist, or you're really interested to see what's curating things. I mean, because you learn so much.
People in these positions are actually curious. They want to know what's happening out there. This is a fabulous opportunity to kind of get this snippet to see what people are doing in Providence, Rhode Island at this particular moment in time, and what they're thinking and how. And actually, one of the interesting things, I curated a lot of exhibitions for Rotunda Gallery. As a curator, you don't just pull ideas out of thin air. You kind of look around and say, well, what's percolating out there? What ideas are happening? They're as interested in what they're going to see because they want to know, either watch their backs, or, you could also be very interested in the fact that, look, there's people working with these ideas, and they're working in these ideas, and they're not just in painting and photography, but they're in digital this and something that, and gee, and I've been seeing some other artists doing that, and suddenly, you know what happens out of that? A show, an idea for an exhibition happens about that, or an article, or something about. And Renee's art was writing on walls, graffiti on walls, "I am the best artist." So he knew what he was. Not that any of us, anybody else ever identified that. So you're going to write some more. The reason why you're going to write a lot, it's always easy to edit down. It's really hard, to edit. I mean, I have my Columbia students bring me pages and pages and pages of printouts of writing that they've done about certain things, and then I give them each a yellow highlighter. I know I'm really into the highlighters. And they have to go through and highlight all the particularly good, interesting pieces of language in there. And that's how they start writing a statement. They pull it out. And they often don't find a lot of that language until they get pretty far down on the page. So again, project description, you want to, and then the other important part about doing the project description is that at various stages you want to hand it to somebody else and let them read it. Somebody you trust. Doesn't have to be, posted on the bulletin board. I'm looking comments for my project description, but somebody you trust and ask them, have I described what I want to do? Do you see what I see in here? It's really great to give somebody something that you've written and have them read it out loud to you. That's what I do when I'm often when somebody wants me to help them edit an artist statement. I take their artist statement and I sit them down and I read it out loud to them. And everywhere they wince or go, we work on those areas. It's kind of funny that hearing your words read through somebody else. You can get somebody with a funny accent to read it, it's even better. Really, works really well. Or read it like a radio announcer. Take it out of your realm. You don't know everything. You're the person that makes the art, and you are king and queen of that castle. Everything about that should be what you want it to be. But all this other stuff, you need help. And help is just another artist away. It's another designer, it's another landscape architect, or it's somebody, or you can mix these fields up. Absolutely. Let somebody look at the first edit of the first draft of your 300-word description. Make them read it out loud to you, and then ask them, summarize, tell me in your own words, tell me what I'm going to do, and see if they can do it. And if they can't summarize and say back to you what you intend to do, then you've got to write some more. Because that means that the person who's judging it won't be able to understand it either. I know this sucks, right? The very first time I had to do an NEA application myself, I sat next to Susan Wyatt at Artist Space, the director of Artist Space, and I cried the entire time. I sat there with a box of tissue. She just kept handing me one tissue after the other. It was terrible. It's kind of a rite of passage, but we get through it. So think about, describe what your project would be. Is there a central idea or an image? What inspired you to make this project? How does it fit into your overall development as an artist? These are all questions that you can answer. Is there a particular thematic point of view that I'm working with here? What are the elements in this project and how do they work together? You might be talking about what kind of materials you're using and why. That's perfectly